Hello everyone! I'm Rebecca and welcome to another sewing vlog. So, unlike the last few weeks, I was all set to really dive into my sewing on Tuesday night this week instead of Wednesday and really get to work on the Bootstrap form, hopefully even finishing the Bootstrap form on Tuesday night. And then my closet collapsed on Monday night and all of my plans went, I guess, in a pile on the floor. So, needless to say, I spent all of Tuesday fixing my closet. I guess my thrifting has been too much lately. On the plus side, I did also spend some time earlier today. Today is now Wednesday, and I spent some time earlier today really going through, and as I was putting things back in my closet yesterday, I pulled out a big pile of things that I just haven't worn in ages and I just need to get rid of. So today I went through, tried all of those on, only kept like, I think 3 things, and the rest is going to be donated to either friends or to the thrift store. So I'm very excited about getting rid of some of the things that I did not need sitting on there because now I have more room for more thrifting. But in the meantime, most of you were really curious about the Bootstrap form from last week. So I'm really excited about that because I have been working more on it. On Monday night, I worked for a whopping like half hour and I cut out all of my cardboard pieces. Oh, and I finished my armhole covers. So my armhole covers are now in. Okay, just a note on the armhole covers for any of you who are attempting to make the Bootstrap form, be really careful about doing your notches, because when I was marking my notches for the armhole cover, let me show you this pattern. I saw all of these little notches, which I don't even know if these are notches or if these are like pattern alignment things or what, but I marked all of these notches, but this one, because I saw this bit, I didn't mark it as a double. So mark it as a double because I went to go set it in. In fact, I did set it all the way in and then I had to rip it out again because I set this in the wrong way. I thought that because the title is running this way on this piece that it was therefore like this, and again, since I missed that double notch, I just squidged and tried to make notches fit even though they didn't, and really I believe this is like this. So this is the shape that should be. So for those of you who are attempting this, just make sure that you have this in the right shape, not the direction of the words. So yeah, do be careful about that. Learn from my mistakes. In any case, Monday night I set both of these armhole covers on, and I also cut out my cardboard, which the cardboard pieces are this and then also 2 of the armhole covers. So luckily I had just gotten a really ridiculously large box from Amazon, and this came in handy because honestly I think this piece is larger than your average Amazon box. But this should work. I used an X-Acto knife, by the way, to cut this out. It was a little hard on my hand, so be careful, especially if you have any sort of hand issues that you're dealing with. Do be careful if you're using an X-Acto knife, and otherwise maybe there's a better method that you have. In which case, leave me a comment, let me know that better method so I know for the future. But what I had on hand was an X-Acto knife from college. So today I have worked a little bit more on the Bootstrap form, and I'm really working on the interior structure now. One of the mistakes I made was that yesterday when I went to go get all the stuff that I needed for my closet, I forgot to get the pole for the dress form. So I had to run back out today and get the pole. And I feel like that's something that maybe you should start off with. Now, I got a pole that was longer than what my pattern recommended because the pattern recommendation seemed really short. It recommended 27¼ inches approximately, which is shorter than the body of the form. So that seemed really weird to me. Now I know that there's a sponge, 3-inch thick sponge that goes into the neckline, but I feel like there's additional room, and maybe this is just because I'm tall, but there's additional room on that pole. On the base pole. I'm using a pole, by the way, from an existing dress form. So this is the base. Ooh, hit my ceiling. This is the base that I'm using, and so the pole that is in here, which is a PVC pipe, that fits over this base. Now I found the instructions honestly to be very confusing in this section, and I had to ask Liz Scapism, who has just made this form, definitely check out her channel. I had to ask her some tips on how she did it, but this is the interior structure of the form. So right now I do have the pole in here. I was just checking to make sure that it fit, and I will need to take it out to put this with the rest of the form. But a couple things that I want to just note. So in the instructions, it does not appear to give you how you are supposed to attach both of these sections, because these are the support sections here, front and back, and you cut 2 of them. But in the instructions, it looks like you're only dealing with 1. So what Liz recommended and what I did was to kind of sandwich here. So you are looking at the back right now, and we've got back piece here, and in the middle we've got the pole piece. Now I did have to piece my pole piece because I didn't have fabric that was long enough. I did a felled seam, no, what's the seam for jeans? I did the seam for jeans. I don't remember what that's called. I did that kind of seam for where my pieces met. You can see that right there maybe. And that way I just want to make sure that it's strong, since a lot of weight will probably be going on that. But anyway, I did sandwich this. So this is again, the back, the 2 sides of the pole cover, and then the other back side. The pole cover is just one piece that's supposed to be cut. It's supposed to be one piece that's supposed to be cut on the fold and then turned over, and you stitch the sides. I actually stitched all of them at once. So I basically made my sandwich and then just stitched that seam down all the way, making sure that you also get this end past where this meets. And then I did the same thing also for the front side. So again, sandwich method, and then you just turn these out and press them, and you get some nice pretty seams right there. Now again, a note on this pole, it has you originally just do a 3/8 inch seam allowance, and the pole piece looks really confusing in my opinion, because it has all of these lines all over, and it's like, where do I even cut? Basically, I wound up doing just the exterior most line, which is the 3/8 inch seam allowance, and then I took, once I got my pole, and I put it inside what that tube had made. That tube had made all the way out to this seam. So it's really, really huge. I don't even know what size of piping that would be, and it doesn't, oh, it's in centimeters, but that's a 5 centimeter diameter. And I wound up taking in 5/8 inches from there, which I guess would be their equivalent. Oh, I went to the fully smallest. So I'm using a 1 inch piece of piping because that is what best fits over my base pole. And I am using the most interior, which is which is a 3 centimeter. So that's not, 1 inch does not equal 3 centimeters. So I don't know. And what I've done here, I was really trying to puzzle out how this pole actually gets supported on the form, because they tell you that you can use a base, an actual dress form base like this, but their instructions show them using a coat rack. And I believe with the old coat rack that rack actually goes all the way up to the top of this, whereas my base obviously doesn't. My base goes to about hip height, so it needs something to stop this pole from going all the way over it. So I talked to the guy at the hardware store. I was looking for something with a thumb screw, which unfortunately they did not have, but he was very helpful. And oh, by the way, he was able to cut my PVC piping, but the first person that I talked to thought that Lowe's didn't do that. So ask around if you go to Lowe's, and you might find someone who will be able to cut your PVC piping, because it comes in a very long piece. And I don't know about you, I don't have anything at home that I can cut it with. He had this awesome thing that he just like clamped and it cut. It was pretty cool. And he recommended this ring here. So I was already looking for a ring, but I was looking for one with a thumb screw, which again, they did not have. This, however, you can use this kind of tool. I don't know what this is called. I kind of thought it was a hex wrench, but I think I'm wrong. And you can use that tool to just fit over here and tighten. So I'm just going to keep this now in the sewing room for if I need to move this up and down. Really the only reason is if you're doing a hem and you need to change your heel height, so you're wearing flats versus you're wearing heels. So otherwise I think I've got it pretty set to where I need it to be, but this is probably what you want. This was very inexpensive, by the way. The whole thing, PVC piping and the little screw bit here, cost me I think $5, if that. Now I did already have the base, but they can be gotten on Amazon for I think about $25, and I do have an affiliate link down in my description, so please go click on that link if you need to get a base. These are great. I love the wooden bases. They're pretty sturdy, and this I've had Antoinette over here long enough that I have bought one other base for her since I first bought her, but this one is my first one from my smaller form, and I've owned that form since 2014, I think. So I'm just stealing it from the smaller form, and if I have a commission or have a little antique piece that can actually fit that form, then I will steal my base back. I think that is about it for my progress thus far. I am going to hopefully keep working on this tonight. The next bit is practically quilting these pieces here, so that's interesting. And then it will be able to get attached into the bodice, or into the body. So I am excited about doing that because I think basically all that's left after that point, after attaching it, is to do the base bottom, which involves 2 zippers, so not really looking forward to that. And then also just stuff the whole thing. So I've got a 10-pound box of fiberfill sitting right at my door, and it is ready to stuff. So I don't know if I'll get there tonight, but I would hope by tomorrow if I don't rhinestone instead. Hello everyone, it is Thursday, and I want to talk to you about a little bit more weirdness with the Bootstrap form. So yesterday I kept working after I last talked to you guys, and part of that was I quilted up the sides of the interior support. So that's what all of these rows of stitching are on both sides. That's all kind of vertical lines of quilting. And then I also put in, I had meant to already have done this, but I forgot that step. I put in the cardboard bits that are then encased in another piece of the arm eyes. So I put those in, one on each side of course, and I pinned the interior support in place, which is a really, really weird part, just FYI. And I'm not sure that I've done this right. I feel like the instructions were really unclear on attaching the interior support. It basically said in the instructions that you want to open up the seam of the edge of the interior support, and then also open up the seam center back and center front. And by open up, I mean just flatten the seam allowances so that they're open, and push those seam allowances together so that they're on the inside. And then it just says stitch. It doesn't say where. So I used kind of my best guess, best judgment, and I decided to stitch just into the seam allowance from the stitch line, using the stitch line on the body, so center back and center front. Stitching just out. I used a zipper foot for that, by the way, changing my stitch with stitch placement all the way to the left, and that way I wasn't trying to go over that bulk because there's a fair bit of bulk in there, but I don't really know why it had it open up. It just seems odd to me, so I'm hoping that I did that right. I have yet to like turn this right side out, which I assume is a step at some point. I haven't gotten there yet. But it was just really weird. And also I think that means be careful that when you are quilting the inner support, you should make sure to leave the full seam allowance on the outside, which I wasn't careful about because again, it never even told me to close those pieces together and treat them as one over there. So there's definitely some steps missing in the instructions that are just not clear. And I just want you to be aware of those steps so that you don't have the same confusion that I did. But anyway, the interior support is now affixed to the body. And the next step was going and cutting the foam for the neck. So it calls for a 3-inch wide or thick foam for the neck area. And I don't think it gives you an actual pattern piece for it because it appears to just have you use this neck one. Either that or I have lost a pattern piece because I can't find the one that would just be for the neck top. So it looks like you just cut the regular neck pattern piece, but take out the seam allowances. Oh, and you know what? You know why I think it's not a different step? So when you order this pattern, you can order it with or without seam allowances. I ordered mine with seam allowances, but I think because of that, it's almost like you should have a whole different piece for this, and it doesn't give you one even if you order it with seam allowances. So then you just have to kind of deal with it on your own. I didn't want to cut into this just on the wild chance that I make one again, and I apparently don't want to cut out this pattern piece again. I decided that I had a lid in my garage, because I cut this in my garage. I had a lid from the laundry pods that was just smaller than the interior, so I just drew slightly larger than that. And then I had to cut this foam. Now, this foam is left over from when I redid the banquette, or when I made the banquette in my dining room, and I've just had this sitting gathering dust in the garage, probably quite literally. And so I used the tool, or I tried to use the tool that I used when we made that banquette, which is actually this. This is like a ham and turkey carving knife, electric carving knife, I think. But when I made the banquette, this was what was recommended to use. So I have only ever used this for foam. I wouldn't use it for food at this point. And I thought that it would work great for this. And it kind of did at first. I started this by taking my X-Acto knife and cutting just inside the circle that I had drawn on as the pattern. And then I used that big carving knife to cut it so that this would just be like a small square, because this was part of a really long, I don't know, probably at least 25-inch long piece, and I didn't want to deal with all of that when trying to fussy cut a circle. So I started with that, and then I tried to use the carving knife to like actually get the circle, and it was just not having it. There wasn't enough resistance, I think. It's meant for like, I mean, we used it on this foam, but we were cutting long squares or long rectangles, and I just don't think it's meant for something nice and round. So as you can see, this is very not round, but I think once I put it in the neckline, it should help to smooth everything out. What I really wound up using was a combination of the X-Acto knife and scissors and that electric knife, and it just wound up kind of a mess. So just to warn you, if you do try to cut foam like this, it's funky. So I guess now I should keep going and stick this in the neck and figure out what the next steps are, because I think I'm pretty close to having this all together, and I just really want to stuff it and get it done. So yay. Next pattern thing, while I have you here, because it was literally the next instruction that I read, it uses the term stay stitch when it just means stitch. So the next instruction is to take your little pieces like this and stay stitch this seam. It's not stay stitching, it's just stitching, stitch it, then clip your curve and turn it right side out. Cool. Sorry that I'm coming at you rather gross and disheveled, but it is the end of the night and I wanted to show you another weird thing about this pattern. Say hi to Dora. She just came in from outside and it's raining, hence the towel. So another weird thing about this pattern is that I feel like it's telling you in the pattern to put on the base cover zipped section when it's zipped, which makes no sense. So instead, what you're going to want to do is, after you turn the body right side out, you're going to want to unzip the bottom zippy section and then put it on the outside. Make sure that you match up which side's the front, which side's the back, because they are different, but you're going to put it on the outside. So here is the zippy part and here is the body of the form, and then you can pin around here and sew around here. So yeah, it's not what the directions say, but this is going to make your life so much easier. It's almost like you're setting in the world's weirdest sleeve. So I'm ready to put the pole back in the interior of the body, and then you start stuffing it, I believe is the next thing, and you get to like a certain point of it being stuffed, and then you put the cardboard base in, and these get like glued or something like that, I think, over the cardboard or otherwise adhered to the cardboard, and then you stuff it some more because there's little holes in the cardboard, and then you can zip it up and you have a dress form. So guys, I'm almost there. I might even, we'll see how much energy I have tonight, and it's only 10:46. I don't work tomorrow, so I might just go sit in the other room and fill this full of stuffing. I'm excited. I know this should be an embarrassing moment because it's me, but I just wanted to show you guys deflated me and how kind of funny that is. So yeah, here's me deflated and ready to be stuffed. It just looks really weird. Okay, be back soon. Hey guys, it's me. I finished it. I hope that I stuffed it enough. It feels like a little squishy, and I'm really honestly worried that this cardboard on the bottom is just like not really enough support. Like you kind of have to almost bend it to get it in, which weakens it already. So hopefully that will hold, but if not, I guess that's easy enough to replace the cardboard. I just have to undo those strips that are glued on, which I use hot glue on, by the way, because that is my favorite glue. But yeah, it's there I am. This is me. I think it's pretty close to accurate. I held it up to like my shoulder and our waists seem to be in the same place. Like we're getting that lovely diamond in our waists, and the hips seem to be the same. So I haven't measured her. I guess I should have been measuring her while I stuffed her, but I just kind of stuffed the fabric until it was full. You know what? I'm gonna measure her. Hang on just a sec. Okay, moment of truth. Bust is 48, which is what I am. Waist is, oh, I overstuffed the waist. Uh-oh. Well, if I cinch it, it's a 40. I'm a 40. So I might have to squish some stuff around because she should be a 40 and it's really sitting at like a 41. So that's a little overstuffed. And hips. Oh, hips are really overstuffed. Hips are sitting at 53. I'm like a 51, I think. Yeah, I'm a 51.5. So hips are 1.5 inches too large right now, but like I don't really ever do much with the hips, so I don't really care about them being too big. Her waist is a little big, so I'll just like, she's very squishy though, so she's squishier than I am, so I think that should be fine. Antoinette wears a corset all the time, so I might do the same for her. Now, one thing that I'm noticing though is this. So I don't really know how to stop that. The other thing is that I have to pick, if I move the form, I have to pick it up from down here below the whole body. So that is going to be a little difficult once there's like stuff on it. And I think I have my, yeah, I guess I have my little ring set to like heel height right now, maybe even a little taller, so I need to bring her down just slightly. But otherwise, I'm very happy with this. I mean, I think it seems pretty right. Ooh, maybe I've got the teens dress stuff in here. Maybe I should try to put that on her and see what it looks like. I'm gonna do that. Oh, P.S. 10 pounds of fiberfill. Way too much fiberfill. Even for someone who is 5'10" and plus size like me, I should have gone with the 5-pound fiberfill box, and I think that might have been too much fiberfill. So I'm gonna have fiberfill for the rest of my life. Thank you. This has been your public service announcement. So I got the corset on a little bit crookedly, but I started to lace it, and I just have to show you this squish factor here. So hopefully I won't stand in the way. Look at this squish factor. Whew. So she's a lot squishier than I am. It's gonna have to be something like, if I am putting a corset on her, I'm gonna really have to pay attention to just how tightly I'm lacing it, because I'm pretty sure this is, I think this is close, but this might be a little bit, well, I lace tighter up top, which she's not, so that'll balance it out. I hope this isn't too much of a spoiler for my dressing video. See if a petticoat will fit on her that I can barely get over my head. Okay, so this isn't gonna work. So I still can't get this petticoat on her, but I'm not really surprised. This is like tight to squeeze over my chest, and I think like if she wasn't as spinny as she is, I could maybe make it work, but I don't want to risk tearing this or anything. Let's see if we can get the dress to work and how it'll look. Wow. So it's not completely perfect, but it's pretty close. I feel like the bust is really low. I guess that's the only thing that I'm seeing. Like, I feel like the bust should be here. So, I mean, look how low that bust is. And it's definitely pulling right here too. In fact, I'm going to undo that because I don't want to hurt the dress. So it was definitely pulling here, and that's probably because the bust is in the wrong place. So, well, she's a little tall. Yeah. I think the bust is like quite low. So, I might have to figure out what to do about that, because it's the opposite problem that I've ever had before. On my other one, the bust to shoulder is like way short, and so this is now a little too long. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to take a whole slew of measurements and just see where exactly I might be off, but it's certainly a lot closer than I have ever had with Antoinette. And I mean, being able to even just like get this closed, at least mostly, is pretty astounding. So I'm pretty happy. Thank you, Bootstrap. I mean, not that this is sponsored or anything, but overall, I know that there were some weird things that I have talked to you about with the pattern, but overall, I'm happy with this pattern, how this pattern came together. It was relatively easy, particularly at first. It really wasn't until working on the structure section that it got a little bit more challenging. So overall, again, pretty darn good. So yeah, overall, I'm very happy with the Bootstrap pattern. If you are interested in getting a Bootstrap pattern as well, I do have a link down below in the description, and it is an affiliate link. So if you use that link, it really does help me out. And yeah, let me know if you're going to try the Bootstrap form, because overall, I think this is pretty cool. I'm going to try and figure out something to do to make it so she doesn't spin so much. Maybe put some foam or something, because the real issue is that the pole of the base is too small compared to the pole that she has in the interior, and so they're just spinning loosely. And I think if I put some styrofoam in there, it's not going to spin loosely. So I'm going to give that a try. But yeah, overall, I am quite happy with the Bootstrap form, and I think it's time to check a project off my list, because I know we haven't looked at the whiteboard in a really long time. Before I get to the whiteboard, I did want to share a tweak that I made to the form with my mom's idea, which was to take a tuck basically out of the bottom of the bust. So that is just currently pinned in place, and then to put an old bra over the bust where my bust actually sits, so about 1.5 inches higher than the bust on the form, and then fill that with fiberfill. That has definitely helped, but it is not still my exact measurements. I actually went and put Elsa on her, as you can see, and Elsa for some reason is fitting her worse than Elsa fit Antoinette. So I definitely still have some tweaks and some other measurements and changes that need to be made to the new Bootstrap form. Okay, I know the lighting over here is atrocious, but ta-da! That is done. And yeah, haven't done anything else on here. So it's a little different than the last time that you saw it, just because my to be edited and filming soon has changed a little bit, but nothing else has changed. I'm gonna try this vlogger style, so please forgive me if the camera is shaky. But that said, I do want to talk to you guys about some projects that I have coming up, because I have CADD, and that is just, it's real rampant right now. So I'm going to show you coming up the haul that I promised you, the vintage style haul from the thrift store. But a couple of things that I got with that was I got 2 lengths of fabric, 1 tablecloth, 1 actual length of fabric that I want to make into skirts. So now I have 3 skirts to make. That's the yellow circle skirt that's been on my list that is still over here. And then now I have a cute little like bunny skirt made out of an Easter tablecloth, and also a plaid skirt that is like a wool blend fabric. Clearly I don't need that very soon, but those are kind of the top of my to-do list. I'd like to knock out all 3 of those in the next week. That'd be really great. And then I have some other projects to do too. So if you are following me on Instagram, which if not, go follow me. That's at Lady Rebecca Fashions. But if you're following me on Instagram, you have seen lately in my stories and my posts that Kiralee Cosplay and I'll link her down below and up above, she and I and a lot of other costumers are doing a challenge for Halloween, and it is the historical Halloween challenge. So we're taking fancy dress designs that have been published in fashion plates and catalogs and such over the years. I think the earliest that I've seen go back to about the 1880s that people are doing, and then going up through, I want to say, the 30s mostly. And we are selecting a design to reproduce for Halloween because there might not be a lot going on for this Halloween, and we want to have fun. So that's what we're doing, to have fun and to make us be a little bit more productive and just to do a nice big group collaboration and everything. So I'll have videos coming out on that specifically the week of Halloween, and then that will be featured in my vlogs as well. I have selected 2 designs and I will pop them up onto the screen here. The first one is a hussif, because hussifs seem to be like super on trend right now. Everyone's making hussifs from Willoughby and Rose's pattern, which I have yet to purchase, and I need to, because I'm going to make myself both her hussif and a hussif costume from the late 19 teens, which is in a pattern catalog that I actually own, an original pattern catalog from the 19 teens. So I'm gonna make that, and since that's relatively easy, it's mostly like prop making, I'm also going to make this absolutely gorgeous Marguerite, aka Daisy, costume, fancy dress costume from 1888, and I'm so excited about it. I have ordered my fabric, which is going to be cotton voile. I don't know yet the hussif fabric. I think I'm going to do like a quilting cotton type thing. I'm going to see what's in my stash, if there's anything I can use. But the Daisy one in particular, I'm very excited to do, just so gorgeous. So those are my 2 next like big projects. They're really not that big, which is why I selected 2 of them. Both of them are fairly simple. The Daisy one is practically like a chemise à la reine, except 1888 and covered in daisies, giant daisies. So those I need to add on to my list. Let's go put them on. So I'm putting them under future projects for now because I haven't actually started them yet. I'm going to put here thrift, let's be more specific. We're gonna go with bunny skirt. My list is getting too long, you see. Plaid skirt. And then up here, we'll go ahead and we'll put on hussif costume and Daisy costume. And so I'm a little bit ashamed to say this, but I also just bought fabric for one other project, and that is that I can't get over the stupid strawberry dress trend that is going around right now. I'll put a little picture of it up here, and I can't think of the designer off the top of my head, so I'm going to put it as a caption. But the strawberry dress is so, so pretty, and it's like all over Instagram and the internet right now. It's basically a meme, and I've decided that I want to make it. I found strawberry sequined tulle fabric on Etsy, and it was less expensive than I thought it was going to be. Now it's coming from China, so it's not going to get here for a month. So hopefully I will finish these guys and then work on the strawberry dress. I think in the meantime, I'm also going to make a working mock-up for the strawberry dress, since that fabric is hard to get. And I'm actually gonna make a Halloween themed strawberry dress. So in other words, it's gonna be like a cobweb dress or something out of Halloween tulle. It's just the right time of year and I apparently need another Halloween costume. So yeah, CADD, spinning like crazy, but I've got all sorts of fun future projects planned and I'm really excited about it. Let's go ahead and add the strawberry dress and its mock-up to here. I'm just gonna put strawberry dress and mock-up because again I'm planning on doing a working mock-up with this. So I don't have the fabric for the working mock-up yet, but I'm just gonna get some sort of cheapo Halloween fabric from Joann's and do that. Oh my god, that's a really big list. Okay, so I know a lot of those are down the line projects. Like the tea gown has gotten booted. The Felicity Christmas dress may not happen this year because I don't have access to the fabric. I need to go to the fabric district for something like that. And the 50s dress got booted because I'm just not feeling it as much right now. And the 18th century caraco and petticoat is also booted. So this is not in any order, which is kind of driving me batty. Oh, and the white cotton summer bustle is probably not going to happen until next summer. But yeah, so all of that does need to happen. And at some point, Daniel Dormonda really needs to happen. But it's not going to be until at least after Halloween. So I'm not sure which skirt I'm going to start on first. I'm thinking the bunny skirt just because it's really cute. I'll show you that fabric soon. Maybe the yellow circle skirt, we shall see. So lots of projects coming soon and I will be vlogging about all of them. I don't know if I'm gonna start any in this vlog because it is going to be cool tomorrow and rainy, so I am going to work on Elsa. So I will hopefully have more projects for you and possibly a photo shoot on Saturday. We shall see. On Saturday, Emily, the sucky seamstress, and I attended the Point Defiance Rose Garden. I love visiting this garden in mid-August because the dahlias are in absolute peak bloom and everything is so beautiful and the roses have had their second bloom of the season. It's such a wonderful place to visit and take pictures, and we decided to go in our lovely 1950s looks so that we could blend in with the flowers. I hope you enjoy the pictures and the video that we shot there. joining me for my vlog this week. I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, please go ahead and click the thumbs up icon. And if you'd like to see more videos like this from me, please go ahead and click subscribe and the little bell icon to be notified every time I post a video. I do post videos twice a week here on YouTube, both my vlogs on Tuesday and my regular content on Friday, but I also post every day over on Instagram, so please go follow me on Instagram. That's at Lady Rebecca Fashions. And if you'd like to support me further, I have a link to my Ko-fi, Coffee, whatever it's called, account down below where you could help me more to support this channel. Once again, I do hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a wonderful week and happy sewing!